Season's greeting, everyone. I'm in my Christmas onesie. I'm celebrating early. I'm feeling really good about things. And so I had to come on here because so much is happening, right? Since the last time I posted. I did this really long live today on 3i Atlas and NASA, the information they did and did not release. But so much has happened, right? And so I was like, I got to come on here and give you part 3 of what my spirit guide said about these darn files. And a big part of why I do this work and why people who do precognition, prediction do this work is because of what Susan Lynn, my mutual on YouTube, says. Forewarned is forearmed, right? So the whole point of prediction is to help people prepare for what might very likely happen. Of course, we're never 100% accurate, but we're reading the energy, right? And so I know some people are all in a tizzy about, oh my God, what's her name? I gotta remember the name. Liar General Blondie, came out today, as we expected, and said, oh, it seems that we can't actually release anything because, we have this whole new random investigation that we created last night just to try to get out of releasing anything. And, oh, well, I guess, it's not really possible. But at the same time, she fixes her face to lie and say, but we're going to follow the law. She wouldn't know a law if it slapped her in the face. I think she supposedly has a law degree, but from where? And this is why they have rules, like to pass a bar and to stay in good standing with a bar. You can't be a criminal, right? And you have to have upstanding ethical conduct. Anyone can report you to the bar. So it's a mystery why, but anyway, I digress. Okay, but we already knew this was going to happen, right? We knew they were going to try to find some way around doing what they're supposed to be doing. But as I said in my last video, as my guides have explained, it's not going to work. There's lots of reasons why it's not going to work. If you don't want to believe me as an intuitive, if you don't believe in my spirit guides, just look at the facts, look at the logic, okay? So there are lots of other copies. There is lots of data out there. There are lots of survivors out there. They have lawyers. They've got documents. They've got all kinds of stuff that can be released. We got the brother. We got Starboy. Anyway, I already discussed that in my last video. So let me give you part 3 now. I did this really long channeling last night with my spirit guides about all kinds of things related to the files. And so let's talk about one other aspect of it. The whole issue of whistleblowers. So I did ask about that. I was like, there were 1,000 agents that looked at these documents. There were all of these prosecutors, paralegals. There have been so many people over the last 20 years. I think it's 20 years, right, that these files have existed. There's been so many eyes on these documents. And, these eyes are connected to mouths. And so they could speak out. And so will they? That was a question I had. And, what they said to me was that there has been a track record of what happens to people who speak out. And we actually heard this from the survivors the other day during their press conference when someone said, oh, why can't you name the names? They're asking the survivors to name the names of all of their perpetrators, which I think is a really obnoxious request. But anyway, what did they respond to it? They said, everyone who has done that thus far is no longer here, right? There's a pattern of unaliving of people who speak out against these powerful men. And so they're understandably hesitant to put their lives on the line by doing that. And so after that question was answered, the lawyer stepped forward and said, I will compile a list and I will release it. Now, it's also not entirely safe for him. So he's being very courageous in saying that. Can we just give him a little applause, a little, pat on the back? I mean, that's really impressive that he's willing to consider doing that. It's also really risky for him, I think, legally, because if you name a perpetrator, there are certain things you have to do, and people can say, oh, you shouldn't have done that because now you've changed public sentiment or whatever, as if public sentiment hasn't already gone in that direction, but okay. So when I asked my guides about the whole whistleblower thing, I was like, are there going to be people coming forward? And they did. They said there's so many people out there who have access in other countries. Just a whole lot of different people have knowledge of, have seen, or have access to copies of these materials. But they did tell me, you know, it is very dangerous for them because there is this history of people who have, who have kind of, supposedly deleted themselves or been deleted under, suspicious circumstances. And so there are a lot of people who are very afraid to come forward. And why is that? It's not because the Naked Emperor is just so important. Powerful. It's not that he's so powerful. It's not that JE is so powerful. It's that this network is very powerful. These people were working with incredibly powerful and wealthy and dangerous people around the world, including governments with armies and intelligence agents, right? So if someone needs to be dispatched, it's not that someone has to go hire their cousin Vinny. You know, they can call upon Mossad. They can call upon, the KGB. They can call upon all kinds of people. There's a lot of resources at the disposal of this network of bad traffic. And I know that may sound really, that may really, like, why am I telling you that? That's such a bummer or whatever. I'm not trying to be discouraging. I just have to report what they tell me. So they did tell me this, but they said it's still going to come out. There's just so many possibilities, and people are going to put it out because it serves their interests. But they did say that it's going to be best if it comes out at the hands of very powerful or very wealthy people or governments. In other words, people that it would be very difficult to delete. So if you just your average run-of-the-mill citizen or survivor, starts disclosing, it's easy to get to them, right? Look what happened to Virginia. So, so that's why we should be looking to expect governments to release, to share, and really powerful billionaires like Starboy, the Saudis, right? There's a lot of people, a lot of powerful people and organizations that could safely disclose. And they will. If you don't already know me, my name is Jennifer Lisa. I'm a medical intuitive, a psychic medium, and I also am a philosopher. I was tasked by my guide starting a year ago, right after the big joust, with coming onto these various platforms and talking about the spiritual significance of the political situation we find ourselves in. Part of the purpose of my doing this is to help people to navigate a very difficult situation, to help people to keep their spirits up, to help people to raise their consciousness, and most importantly, to help people laugh. This post has been a little too serious. But let's talk about laughter for a minute. My favorite comments on all my videos are the ones where people said, you had me laughing out loud, or, oh, you made me laugh, you made me smile. Every time you smile, every time you laugh, that is an act of resistance. It's an act of persistence. We are in the middle of a fascist takeover of our republic. And what they want is for us to be hopeless and sad and downtrodden and laying down and saying, oh, they will never make it, right? That's what they want. That's how you take control of people. When people are happy, when people are laughing and smiling and coming together in community and unified and loving their neighbor, then there's no way they're going to succeed. And we can see it, right? Backpedal, backpedal, back. They are on the back foot right now. We are on the front foot. We are moving forward. They are moving backwards. The circus is in retreat mode. Okay? You can see it, right? Little Mike with Little Johnson. I'm very concerned. I'm very disappointed. And then head clown on the phone. You guys better do something about these files. I'm taking you all down with me. Did you guys hear that video? That audio? There are people who are saying they have asked ChatGPT, and it's definitely not AI. I don't know. I guess we don't know. One day we'll probably know. We'll probably have like an official, expert audiologist, researcher, forensic, tell us exactly whether that was a real recording. But you know what? It sounds real. It sounds like something he would say, and it's entirely accurate. He is going to take them all down with him. A lot of them are going down with the head clown, and it's going to be a beautiful thing to watch. So let me know in the comments what you're picking up intuitively, or what data you've picked up, what you've read, what stories you've seen. Share your reasons why we should be hopeful.